Now with more, we're joined by Khalid Al-Ghazar, who is the Vice Chair with the National Council of Canadian Muslims. Khalid, thank you for being here. Let's start with this. The Council is urging those increased security and precautions. We saw that across a lot of the country today, including here in Ottawa. You were in a mosque, and we talked about that off camera a little bit earlier today. What's the overwhelming sentiment? Are people nervous to be there at this point?
I would say the overall sentiment is heartbreak. There's a palpable sense of anguish, some apprehension, obviously, in regards to the security situation, but I'd be lying to you if I said that I felt any shock from the community.
Can we talk first too about Islamophobia too, and about hate crimes? That we talk about this, and it seems to be on the rise. Again, 49 people is an unspeakable tragedy. What can be done in our community, maybe specifically to fight these kind of crimes and to talk about Islamophobia and to eliminate it, hopefully, at some point?
Well, I think before we tackle that problem, I think we have to talk about the root of the problem, and that root of that problem is hate, intolerance, ignorance. It's the same problem that other communities face. Like I said earlier, I don't think there's any, I wasn't particularly shocked. Obviously, I was heartbroken and anguished by the attack, but wasn't shocked by it. I wasn't shocked when 6 Muslims were killed in Quebec City 2 years ago, and 11 Jewish worshippers killed in Pittsburgh last year, and 9 in Charleston, if I remember correctly. The common thread in all those attacks is hate, intolerance, and ignorance. So that is the root cause, and that's what we need to do if we're going to root out Islamophobia, anti-Semitism, misogyny, and other forms of hate.
Now we talk about the far right. There's going to be a lot of talk the gunman in the situation with a manifesto. Or do we look to world leaders at this point too, where again to be able to condemn attacks like this? And is that going to be a key part of again stemming this?
Absolutely. We look to our political leaders and public figures to condemn, but not only to condemn, but also not to stand shoulder to shoulder with people who espouse that kind of hatred. So we've seen examples here in Ontario and even in regards to some of our federal politicians of late, standing shoulder to shoulder with known right-wing extremists and bigots. So just tacitly endorsing those people also needs to be called out.
And I guess part of the situation too, Khalid, is talking to our kids about when close to 50 people are killed, being able to talk to them about attacks. What is the best way, in your opinion, to be able to do that?
That's a really difficult question to answer, to be honest. I'm still processing this myself, and I know with my own kids, when they got wind of the Quebec City mosque attack, I convinced them that it was a one-off and that they shouldn't worry, and they believed me. And I'm struggling to figure out what to tell them this time around. Clearly, there's a pattern here. We need to address it. But obviously, what I'll tell them is that by and large, we're very, very lucky to live in a world where the majority of people are very good, and I think we're going to see that support coming out for the Muslim community, as it should for other communities that are affected by hate and intolerance in the coming days.
Yeah, the support will always be there. Khalid Al-Ghazar, thank you so much for being here, and again, we are certainly thinking of the Muslim community tonight.
That's all, man.